forecast first. Sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. For us, we're going to be starting off with a few more of those clouds. A sprinkle or two could be possible across the northern parts of Macoupin County. Now moving across Sangamon County for us into Springfield. I think we should see maybe a raindrop or two here and there. But still, the better chances of rain, if they're going to be around today, are going to hold off until we go later on into the afternoon and into the evening. And temperatures for everybody warm. And I mean mid-70s warm to start off this morning, with temperatures expected to be back up around the upper 80s. Maybe a few of us hitting the lower 90s, but because of some of the additional clouds, we're not going to get quite as high this afternoon. Rain chances will continue to increase into your Friday. We'll see more of them into the weekend, too. We'll talk about that, plus our cool down, and show you the latest on Hurricane Laura coming up. WCI 3 News starts now.
You're watching your local news leader. This is The Morning Show on WCIA 3 News.
Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm McLeod Hageman.
And I'm Christy Batista. We begin this morning with an update. The woman who drove off a Champaign bridge during construction was sentenced to 6 years in prison.
Asia Marshall pleaded guilty to a DUI for that crash. Months later, she was charged with another one. WCIA 3's Courtney Bunting was in the courtroom for the sentencing yesterday and explains what's coming next.
I'm disappointed.
Asia Marshall's mother, Stephanie, says she's outraged after hearing her daughter was sentenced to 6 years in prison.
They didn't give her a chance.
Marshall was charged with an aggravated DUI after crashing her car off an unfinished bridge onto I-57 last September. The moment was all caught on dash cam. Investigators say her alcohol level was more than 3 times the legal limit.
2 individuals in the car, herself certainly could have been killed. People out on the highway who were traveling were endangered by her actions and her behavior.
Stephanie says her daughter struggles with bipolar depression, but has been getting better and should be able to be free.
In order for someone to receive help, you have to ask for help. She didn't know how to do that, and she's doing that now that she's been put in this situation.
The state argues that Marshall's criminal history proves otherwise, because a few months after that bridge crash, she was arrested again after running over someone twice during a fight and driving off.
Our argument certainly was that she was a danger to the public. She was a danger even to herself.
But her mother still feels the opposite.
She doesn't pose a threat to anyone. You got people shooting up houses, shooting up people, killing people, and you want to give somebody 6 years for aggravated DUI with people that were supposed to be her friends in the car with her, drinking as well.
And the judge also recommended Marshall get mental health treatment before her sentence as well. And there were 2 other people in the car during that crash. They were seriously hurt, but they're now doing all right.
Now for a follow-up this morning, a Beecher City man has been convicted for concealing a homicidal death. Aaron Kaiser will be sentenced in October. He and Christopher Glass were arrested after the body of Kimberly Mattingly was found on property owned by Kaiser's parents. He lived there at the time. Mattingly had been missing for nearly a month. Glass is set to go to trial for murder next month.
Early on in this Thursday morning, we have a few more clouds that are going to be in the sky, and you might see a few areas of rain here or there. Big story is that it's just going to be warmer this morning and more muggy, too, as those dew points continue to climb out ahead of the rain chances that we're going to see as we go throughout the next couple of days. And yes, today we get to see more of a widespread chance, even though some of us closer to I-70 did see some rain yesterday, too. But we got some showers, light showers here and there, southern parts of Sangamon County, and then you get closer to the northern parts of Macoupin County and Montgomery counties, too. Not much, though. You still got the front that's going to be well off to the north, eventually heading its way in. We got some rain across southern parts of Ontario. And then you go farther south, and, of course, this is going to be the main game in town. This is Hurricane Laura that is now on land. It came in as a strong Category 4 hurricane with winds of around 150 miles per hour. Back down to 120 now as far as the wind speeds, but it's still strong. You can see it's still intact as far as the circulation too, but it is weakening, and now that is on land, we expect it to continue to weaken as we go throughout the next few hours. As far as your temperatures, mid-70s in Champaign, I know already warm in Effingham at 75, also at 75 in Springfield. We're going to see some small rain chances for today, but the better rain chances are going to come throughout the day tomorrow and then possibly as we go into next work week too. By that time, though, things cooling down. We'll have more on that coming up later. Mac?
All right, thank you, Adam. Well, the CDC is now saying people exposed to coronavirus who don't have any symptoms don't need to be tested. And some say that directly contradicts the previous federal recommendations. The CDC's new recommendation says if you have been in close contact with a person who has tested positive for at least 15 minutes but don't have any symptoms, you don't necessarily need tested. That recommendation has changed, and the Champaign-Urbana Public Health District says this is the wrong message to give people during such a critical time. They're still encouraging people to get tested as much as possible.
A lot of individuals that we are seeing, cases, are asymptomatic. Unless you test, how are you going to find out if you're positive or not? And while you're asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic before you become positive, you are spreading this to many other people.
The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services maintains that, above all, people should consult with local health departments and doctors to decide if they need to be tested. Well, a couple buses are now being deep cleaned and disinfected.
That's after a bus driver at Champaign-Urbana MTD tested positive for COVID-19. That driver last worked earlier this week. On Monday, he drove the 6 orange from 12 to 4 p.m. and the 550 green from around 5:50 to 10:30 p.m. MTD says the employee wore a mask while interacting with the passengers.
An assisted living facility in Pana is reporting a COVID-19 outbreak. That's at Life's Journey. 2 residents and 3 staff members have tested positive, and all residents and staff members are now being tested.
Champaign Public Schools has kicked off the school year virtually. The board first called for a hybrid model, but revised the plan to move all students online for at least the first quarter, even ones with individualized learning plans, or IEPs. Some parents of those kids say they're frustrated and worried their students might fall behind.
They need that one-on-one time. They need that familiarity with those teachers that they've built relationships with over the years. That's what helps them. My daughter's a 7th grader and reads at a 1st grade level. She's finally grasping certain concepts, and I don't want her to start falling behind.
Superintendent Susan Zola says they will contact families who fall into certain categories later in the year to talk about in-person instruction. That includes IEP students. Some bars in U of I's campus town have new requirements for students coming in.
There's an app that shows whether students have a positive or negative COVID-19 test. Murphy's Pub is now asking all students to show they're negative before they can come inside. Students we talked to say it actually makes them feel a bit safer.
I think it's definitely a good idea. I don't think that solves everything. I think people still need to be wearing masks, staying 6 feet apart. There's definitely a lag between when you get tested and when you show your results.
And we reached out to other campus town bars, and they wouldn't confirm if they're following the same policy.
New this morning, Champaign County has now surpassed more than 2,000 total cases of COVID-19. That makes it more than 300 new cases since last Tuesday. There were 86 new cases reported earlier this week. That's a single-day high during the pandemic. Just 2 people are hospitalized with COVID-19.
And taking a look at the latest coronavirus numbers, for the 3rd straight day, the state's 7-day positivity rate has fallen. It's now at 4%. There are more than 2,100 new cases in Illinois, bringing the total to more than 225,000 cases overall. 37 more people have died, bringing the death toll to nearly 8,000 people. And doctors are learning more every day about the coronavirus, but many questions still remain.
We'll answer some of those tonight. We are airing 30 Minutes COVID-19 Just the Facts. The show starts at 6:30 tonight. An Illini coach wins a championship as a player.
Coming up in sports, why this isn't his first time. We'll be right back.